got two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got two phones.
And today I'm going to show you guys a little magic trick. I'm going to vape with my RDA in my hand. That's it. So I'm gonna use this RDA and this hand right here, okay? Okay, so what we're gonna do is you're gonna put your hand into a fist, okay? Just a nice fist, and you're gonna take your Addy and you're just gonna get her in there real nice and just kind of tighten her down in between your hand there, you know, twist, get that connector in there nice and deep like, and then you're just gonna vape. Pretty nifty, huh? That's pretty awesome. No, guys, I'm just messing with you. Today we're looking at the Mini Volt by the Council of Vapors. This thing, guys, is pretty freaking neat. Okay, so all it is a little 40-watt device, 1300 milliamp battery, and this thing can be a beast if you know what you're doing. So let's go down and dirty with the Mini Volt by Council of Vapors. Okay, here we go, guys, with the Mini Volt by Council of Vapors. This is just a sticker on here from the package, but I'm just going to show it to you. We're going to talk about the box first. I'm not going to show it. The box is pretty simple. Just a plastic box. Has this in there. You open it up, and it comes with your mini USB charger because this is an internal battery. And, I mean, that's about it. You know, your user manual, stuff like that. Now, this thing is not much bigger than a 30 ml bottle of juice. Not even as big if you count the whole tip and everything. Of course, the 30 ml is going to be... now, I guess you can almost hide a full 30 ml bottle behind it, but it is smaller than that. It is quite a little guy. Of course, as I said, it has a 1300 milliamp battery, so it's not a very big battery, but you know, when you come to size, you gotta, you know, compromise on some things. You got your 510 connector. She is spring loaded, and she is quite spring loaded, if I must say. Screen right on top, very small screen, but gets the job done. Your buttons, very clicky. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's very clicky. Comes in a white or black rubberized finish with the carbon fiber wrap around it. You have a very small hole for battery venting. Your charger on the bottom. This is not firmware upgradable. Whatever it is, it is. Very nice. You got your COV, your Council of Vapor right there. Mini Volt on one side, nothing on the other. You got these little grips here just to kind of help with your grip. And you can literally hide this thing inside your hand, guys. Like, I mean, she is completely, I mean, it's just a cool little mini device. She is very nice. She is I believe like 54 millimeters tall, 36 across, and 22 in width. She is very nice. I mean, that's really all I have to talk about. We'll go over a couple things like cons. As you see, it's not flush on the bottom. There are a lot of gaps on the bottom. Up top, there are a couple, not as many as the bottom. The wrap does not completely cover, but I kind of do like that. It just gives it that little white accent to help add to it. She's very mini and very nice. So we're going to take her up top. I'm going to talk about all my pros and cons, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys, we were just down and dirty with the Mini Volt by Council of Vapors. You know, there's a couple things I forgot to go over in the down and dirty. To change your wattage and stuff, you can't just click the buttons. It won't change. It's in a permanent lock, which I like a lot. But how you do it is to change your wattage, all you do is hold the fire button and the up button, and it'll start blinking. and it lets you change like that. It goes by 0.1 increments, or if you hold it, it'll go down by 1 increments. To change, you can change your ramp up time also, which is the fire button and your bottom button. And it blinks on the bottom there. It says power, soft, standard, power. Power as being fastest, soft as being the slowest, and standard as being standard. I keep it on power just for a faster ramp up time because I do use an RDA. Another thing I want to talk about, guys, when you're building or when you're using tanks with this thing, you got to remember she is only 40 watts. Now, some people do like that, but I like to blow some pretty decent clouds, and this thing can do a pretty decent job if you know how you're building. Now, I would not suggest, I've built a couple times on this thing to try to get it right, and I suggest not building under 0.6. I'd go 0.6 to 0.8. Those seem to work the best. I have mine at 0.76, which is kind of like the sweet spot. I do have a single 10 wrap, 24 gauge, just normal wrap, and she, there we go. I was wondering why she wasn't firing. But as you see, she's a pretty angry coil. I do have my Mutation X V4 on there, single coil mode. I have this side blocked off as well as the silicone blocker on the bottom. I think I might do it on this side, but I haven't decided yet. But I'm going to vape on her so you can kind of see that she does a decent job of chucking them clouds. Now, if I were to keep vaping at the highest wattage with this thing on here, it would die probably within 2.5, maybe if you're lucky, 3. And like I said, there's only a 1300 milliamp hour battery in here, guys. That's a really small battery. The lowest battery I have is a 2000 milliamp battery. I have 2 of them, and they're old as shit. They haven't really been used at all. They just kind of sit around, but they're old as shit. And I don't even understand why anybody would use a 2000 milliamp battery. Like, just the fact, I mean, it doesn't bother me with this. Like, when I got this, like, man, just make sure you're running the right stuff on it and everything. And while I was using it, I was trying to use my tank on it. I was barely getting anything. I was like, wow, I just wasted money on this thing. But now that I've kind of gotten to the point where I know how to build and what ohms to use on it, what ohms to build and what kind of coils to use in my heads, if I can find any 0.8 coils that can go into either of my sub-ohm tanks. But right now I'm kind of just using it for drippers, and it works really well for just kind of sit around, chill vaping. Let's go over let's go over the pros first. Pros, just how big it is. I mean, it's just, this is the only word I can think for it, is cute. How fucking small and cute this little fucking thing is. This thing is a beast, though. It can be a beast. I don't know what chip is in here. I know it's not a DNA 40. I can just tell by the outlook and the outlay of the screen itself. But I'm not sure. But of course, with size, you're going to have to think about battery, of course. So your 1300 milliamp battery. What else? The feel of it, how it feels. It's got a nice grippy feeling to it, to the point where you can feel confident just holding it. You don't have to worry about it. It's small, so you can have a good grip on it. Fits into your pocket beautifully. If you have a shirt pocket, it fits right into your shirt pocket. Great. What else? I mean, that's about it for pros. Oh, the connector is spring loaded. That's also great. So we're going to go into the cons. The cons, lots of gaps. Doesn't sit flush. It's kind of protruding at the bottom at one side, but not a big deal for me. One thing that is a big deal for me is that the charging port is on the bottom. So unless you kind of set it halfway off of your table, you're gonna have to lay it down. You're gonna take your bot out, lay it down, which isn't that big of a con for me, but it might be for other people. The screen was way small. Like, I mean, way small, guys. And another thing is my juice flow and everything. My coil's on this side, and I might have to flip it over because when I'm using it, juice will spit out and land onto the screen, and I'm just scared that it's gonna break the screen. Juice leaks up in there, something like that, you know. Ooh, another pro. Clicky buttons. Nice clicky buttons. Okay, so just wanted to get that pass. Go back to cons. The battery life kind of sucks. It's not that bad, but it does kind of suck. It's not something you're going to want to use as an all-day vape, or even your first, these do come in kits, but your first vaping kit, because it's got such a low battery that people who use it as their first kit are not going to want to vape because they're like, man, these things die so quick. This is stupid. But that just, it's all subjective to you. 40 watts, I'm not a big, I just said this in my yesterday's video, or my last video. I fucking hate low wattage devices. I fucking hate them. I can't stand it. I don't like anything that can't hit at least 60 watts. At least 60 watts. Like, most of the devices I have, my Relo is 200. My Invader 3 is 240. My Evic Mini is 75. I mean, I just... my IPV Mini is 70. IPV Mini 2 is 75. My IPV 4 is 100, 150, 125, something like that. I mean, I just don't have anything that goes below 60 watts. I can't say 75 because I do have another device coming that I will be reviewing as soon as I get here, and it is a 60 watt clone. But this thing for 40 watts does pack a pretty good punch if you know how you're building. Another pro, just the convenience of it. Just the perfect convenience of such a little device. I mean, it just gets swallowed up in my hand. All you see is this thing. I mean, you could like walk into a freaking party or something just holding your fist with this, and people are like, what the hell? And you just fucking hit that. If them people are drunk, they're gonna be like, whoa, this guy can blow clouds by just putting an RDA in his hand. That's fucking crazy. I mean, it does a good job with its vapor production. For being only a 40 watt device, it does a good job. Another con, does not have temperature control. No temperature control, all wattage, which doesn't bother me all that much because I don't use a lot of my stuff in temperature control other than my Evic Mini, because it came with temperature control coils, stainless, a nickel and a titanium one. That's pretty much my work one, but now this might end up being my work device if I can find some normal coils for my Ego 1 Mega tank, which is a very lung restrictive hit. But guys, that's it. That's all I got for this beautiful mini Volt. This thing is a beast. If you can one more thing, guys, I completely forgot. You can go online and get this mod for $35. $35 fucking dollars. That's cheaper than my freaking Mutation X V4 RDA. Well, that's cheaper than any RDA I have. Yeah, cheaper. Cheaper than every RDA I have. That's fucking... It's cheaper than both my tanks were. It's fucking crazy, guys. That's fucking... This thing... Even just for $35, it's worth buying. Even though it's only 40 watts, just the price point is worth just this little thing. And it's, I mean, you don't even have to use it if you don't want to. It's just a cool little piece to add to your collection. This is the smallest regulated device on the market in the world right now. In the fucking world. So, guys, that's all I got for you today. This is Vapus 001. Hide your mods and hide your tanks. No matter how small they are, I'm gonna vape them.